Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Just sitting there in traffic, leaving, just leaving the fire department, leaving my firehouse, getting some work done at the firehouse. I got stuck here in the DC traffic. Just showing you guys the mayhem of being stuck in DC traffic. Just amazing. Earlier today on this same road I'm traveling, I witnessed a pretty horrific accident. I just thank God that I wasn't involved. I was actually in the left lane, and the guy plowed into the back of standing traffic like we are right now, and knocked the guy up on the up into a tree. And just so happened I just cut my camera off, so I'm happy that nobody is seriously hurt. It was police on the scene, myself. I'm a fireman, so I was able to get out and, assess the situation and just see what they needed and call for the appropriate resources. But just blessed and just really thanking God. He could have plowed into the left lane, but he plowed into the right. So I just thank God for the angels just watching over me. Like I say, we can't take for granted. I was just sitting in regular traffic, and the guy just come plowing in the back and, knocked the guy off the road up into a tree. So, in the lane right next to me, I saw the whole thing take place right in front of me. So I'm just thanking God right now. That could have been me, but I truly believe that God is watching out over me. So. But it's just amazing, riding in the city. I try to not ride in the city during rush hour, but this happened in the middle of the day. So, that's one thing about DC traffic. There's a lot of, there's just a lot of people here, and people running late. Cell phones, not paying attention, not being courteous. You put the signal on. That's just like this makes people want to drive faster. They won't let you over even if you use the signal. So it just amazes me how people are, and I just thank God that He had His angels watching out for me today. It's just tough riding in the city. Your motorcycle skills have to be up to par when riding in the city. You have to be aware. You have to always be scanning. To me, it takes all the fun out of motorcycling when you're in the city. And then if you fall back too far, everybody gonna jump over in front of you, cause you to slam on brakes. There's just so many tactics, and just understanding city driving. People who live in areas where you got pretty good traffic. Be thankful, because to ride a motorcycle in a congested urban area, man, I swear it's I witnessed a horrific accident today, man, and I'm just thanking God that it wasn't me. Everybody, and thanking them first of all that nobody got seriously hurt. The gentleman that got rear-ended, he was okay, conscious, alert, everything pretty good, no broken, no obvious injuries at this time. So, that's a blessing in itself. But amazingly, the guy that actually hit the gentleman in the rear, got out his car, went and saw was the guy, all right, and then left the scene. Could you imagine that? The guy left the scene. What a coward. Left the scene, caused all this ruckus, all this mayhem, and just left the scene. Plowed right into the rear. The guy, ricocheted off of several other drivers and ended up, in the woods hitting a tree. But the guy actually got out his car, looked at the guy, saw was he okay, and then actually left the scene of the emergency. Imagine that. So just amazed how people are, and just how they, just don't care for one another and just care for human life itself. So, so just, for all my gold wing riders out there, just take a little extra caution, and then say your prayers, you know. But this is just an amazing place to to ride a motorcycle, but you definitely have to be on your P's and Q's here in DC. You know, everybody's in a rush. There's no courtesy. You know. So, hope everybody's day is going well. We're sitting here trying to make it on home in the traffic. So, I'm sure before I stop this vlog, you'll see some idiot do something crazy. Just a matter of time. Well, other than that, it's a beautiful day out here, and I'm enjoying the Gold Wing. Put a couple of accessories on my bike. Added the curry arc in rear and horizontal lights in the rear. Pretty simple to install, plug and play. I think it really made the bike look good. This brought the bike out even more, increased my visibility as far as lighting the rear of the bike. So I would say to all the guys, that's one thing I try to combat the traffic with, is visibility. I also have a Harley Davidson, and I'm used to the loud pipes, and yeah, that makes a difference. However, I think visibility is one of the key components to motorcycling. You got to be visible. All of these vehicles now have those sound barrier, cockpits pretty much, and they have all of these state-of-the-art, noise canceling. Everything's quiet. So a lot of times they won't even hear you. Look at this guy here. He's gonna run me off the road, I guess. Come on, man. Just behind me, just now. Wow. No courteous, uncourteous drivers out here. Wow. DC traffic. Bumper traffic. I wonder what you guys think. Those who live in urban cities. What is your opinion on the traffic and driving and riding a motorcycle? Are your drivers or in your area, are they aware of motorcyclists? Do they yield to motorcycles? I'm just interested to see. I know here in DC, if you're caught out here at a certain time, you have to be super careful, take your time, and definitely put yourself in a position in the lane where you can get out of a situation. I definitely wouldn't ride the middle lane at no times, strictly because of people pulling in front of you. At least if I'm riding the left lane or maybe the right lane, I got a shoulder. I might can negotiate, get around, or move out the way of something. But if you're in that middle lane, you have no out or no ability to, keep from being hit or moving out the way of incident. I think that's one of the key components is lane position. Also, in the lane, I try to ride on to the outside, anticipating people coming over. If they see a small gap, they coming. Also, I can't stand when people ride your bumper on a motorcycle. So having lights and all the visibility, to me, I just think it gives you a greater chance of safety. And just making sure that you're visible. It's amazing me growing up in this area and seeing fairly heavy traffic, and to now just being to a standstill almost. For an example, the road I'm on now, used to can just fly out of town and just head right on out with no problem. Like this guy here in this burgundy truck, I guess he think he's getting somewhere, but he's jumping back and forth in traffic, and it really is not going nowhere. I guess the second thing I can't stand living in this area is some rule that all the slow traffic get in the left lane. When you go to other places in the States, usually the left lane is reserved for those who are, passing or keeping up the pace of traffic. But here in DC, I think it caused more problems by having guys get in the left lane and absolutely just travel at minimal speeds, and now you got people making unsafe maneuvers trying to get around them because your slower traffic is in the left lane. As you see in front of me, all the traffic in the right lane is moving a lot faster than the left lane. You got one or two people up here in the left lane that's causing us to pretty much lag behind. So I think that's one of the most dangerous things, is having people in the left lane and not using it as a passing lane, and it frustrates drivers, and I think it causes them to make unsafe maneuvers. They're going to jump to the right and pass you on the right because you got some slow driver who just stuck on staying in the left lane when he really should be in the right lane or in a lane outside of the passing lane. So, like this guy here to my right, on the phone. Look at him, on the phone. He couldn't see me if something happened to me. It's on the phone. Amazing. Amazing. It's all fun and games until one of their loved ones are killed or hurt. So I just say to you guys, just be safe out here. Be aware. There's a lot of fools out here on the road. Now we're opening up Back in traffic. Back in traffic. What we have here is the Capitol Beltway. Pretty much the road that leads around the city and the DMV area. Take you from DC through Maryland and Virginia. This is one of the major thoroughfares that we use here in the Washington DC area, DMV, Maryland, Virginia. The Capitol Beltway, and this, I tell you, it's so many accidents that happen on this road. I can't even begin to tell you. This is by far one of the most dangerous, I would say one of the most dangerous roads in the Washington DC area, especially when it comes to riding a motorcycle and just a motorist, alone. I mean, as you guys can see ahead of me, I mean, it's just traffic. And it's it lasts all the way up to maybe upwards around 6:30 or 7 o'clock. It's 5:30 right now. I'm outside of DC. I am now in Maryland, in the suburbs of DC. And like I say, as you guys can see, this is a normal occurrence. What you see here in front of me is, just a bunch of traffic. The good thing is I have a very short distance on this road here on the Beltway. Hopefully, I have around 2 exits, and I will be off, taking a back road. But this is the major thoroughfare coming through the Washington, D.C. area. All your out-of-state traffic. As you see to my right, somebody from South Carolina is riding in front of me to the right. But this is DC at its finest. You definitely had to have your clutch and friction zone mastered here. I guess Jerry Palladino, his course would be very helpful here. And slow maneuvers in the friction zone, slow crawls. Definitely is a skill that's needed in this area here. Say quick stops. Hopefully somebody lets you over. Okay, got me a little window. To me, like putting a signal on is like people speed up. They won't even let you over. This is amazing to me. Yeah. Come on, Mr. Tractor Trailer, look at you. Tractor trailer jumping in front of you. Watch this guy here. Get out his blind spot. That's another thing You have to be out of people's blind spots in this area. Because if they see anything that resembles a open space in a lane, they're coming. Trust and believe, they're coming over. They're coming and they're not going to stop. Wow. I think if I was on my Harley at this time, sure, I'd probably already be overheating. I guess that's one of the differences I love about the Gold Wing. On hot days, riding in traffic, the Gold Wing just coolly rides along. If I was riding my Harley, trust and believe, I'd probably be ready to look for an exit to pull over and get out and cool myself off, because the Harley definitely gets hot. Alright, so I think I had enough of this. I'm going to head on off, get off for the exit, and I'm going to travel the back roads on in. Look at this traffic. I would be interested to hear how you guys in your area, how do you go about traffic, and what's your experience on a daily basis commuting in your jurisdiction. I just would be interested to hear. I know places like New York, California, I know they experience some of the same traffic congestion that we do here in DC. So other than that, it'd be interesting to see. I think Atlanta has a pretty decent traffic. I know every time I've been there, that rush hour was pretty bad as well. But just be interesting to see, riding a big bike like the Gold Wing, in congested traffic. It's be interesting to see what's your experience on riding a motorcycle in this type of traffic. I know for me, it's always a challenge, but you got to develop the skills. And to me, you have to be aware, always looking around. So now I'm getting off the Beltway, going on my local roads. hopefully a lot less congested than the Beltway was. Heading around by the Redskin Stadium, FedEx Field, where the Washington Redskins play. My team, hail to the Redskins. Go Skins. Hopefully we have a good season this year. We couldn't sign our quarterback, Kirk Cousins. So he's been franchised for the last 2 years. So hopefully, he can have a great year. And if he's the quarterback moving forward, he would get that the contract and stuff situation taken care of. And, he can go ahead and step into his realm as being the leading quarterback, our franchise quarterback. FedEx Field, home of the Washington Redskins. My team. Yes, sir. So when the stadium is closed, a lot of the locals in the community, they use this stadium to work out, walking up and down the stairs, jogging and running around the stadium. So this is almost like a track they use to run around the stadium, which is a good thing. Also, when they built the stadium here, they built a sports and learning complex for the residents in the community who were impacted by the stadium being built, so myself included. So they gave sports and learning complex. It's good to have a lot of activities, gymnastics for children, decent gym, indoor track. A lot of the indoor track meets are held at the sports and learning complex. So I guess that's their way of minimizing the impact of the community, by giving them something to, sports and learning complex. It's a beautiful place. The football fields, awesome. But as you see here, we're right outside the stadium, and you have your townhomes and apartment buildings, garden-style apartments, right near the stadium. Walking distance. So, also we have a subway up here to my right, which most people catch and walk to the stadium from. So, I guess that made it pretty decent to have the stadium by a subway. So, cut down on all of your vehicle traffic. Surprisingly, a lot of people take it. They have shuttle buses from different locations to shuttle you back and forth to the subway. But for the most part, people take this walk from here all the way up to the stadium. Yeah, right here in PG County, outside of Washington, D.C. Definitely, they have revitalized this area since they put the stadium. These are pretty new homes that they put up, pretty convenient here, right next to the subway, able to go to work without having to drive in the congestion and the traffic here in D.C. So, pretty convenient. Here's the subway here to my right. A lot of people drive their cars as well and park and catch the subway. That's another way that people deal with the congestion here in D.C. I'm just imagining if, the subway wasn't available and, everybody that worked in the city and drove in the city I mean, it will be total mayhem. It probably take you 3 hours to get out the city. You know, that I guess having the subway is like a vital, to this area. It's vital. Uh, so, but as you see now, I'm out in the suburbs. Kind of way, still traffic, but at least it's moving. I'm not in the city traffic. So most people live here in DC. They live in the suburbs like Maryland, surrounding Virginia, but they work in the city. So most of your jobs are in the city. Virginia have a lot of commerce. They have a lot of jobs as well. But usually, most people are somewhat tied into the federal government or the district government. There's a lot of government jobs here. People from all parts of the country come here. I guess that's the biggest thing about this area. The migration of people. For the opportunities, and I can understand it. Everybody wants a decent pay and great place to raise the kids and be able to provide the American dream for them, or provide some of the resources that other places may not have abundance of opportunities. So I definitely understand why people are here in the DMV area. Like I say, the job market is great. It's one of the most educated areas in the country. I mean, you're talking about having a bachelor's degree here in DC. It's like having a high school diploma. There's a lot of graduate degree holders, PhDs. It's phenomenal, the credentials and all of the the education that people have here, and I think that's what makes this area so unique. There's a lot of educated folks looking for opportunities, which I think is a great place to be here. You have your positives and your negatives. One negative is being traffic and the congestion. Especially if you're from this area. I was born and raised here in DC, and like I say, it's just mind blowing to see, how much traffic is impacting this area. How much congestion there is. When I was growing up, a lot of these roads, they flew, fairly, they got heavy for about 30 or 40 minutes, and then, traffic went back to normal. Now, rush hour can last to 6:30, almost 7 o'clock before traffic starts to, normalize. So I guess that's one of the things that it amazes me here in DC, seeing the change. It's a big change. From when I was a young kid 25 years ago to looking at DC now. Well, but also, I find it that, before there was a lot of people that were traveling longer distances, and was working in the city, but they were living, almost 100 miles to 150 miles away from the city. I know me, I'm a fireman, and I know I have some of my coworkers, they live in Philadelphia, they live in North Carolina. So due to our work schedule, a lot of those guys have traveled from, their homes. We work one day and we're off 3. And, them guys have traveled, long distances. And one of the reasons, which is, understandable, the cost of living is a lot cheaper the further you move away from the city. I mean, where in the city you can be paid upwards, for a regular home can start anywhere from, $500 all the way up to $1 million. So, $500,000, and that's without land, that's without probably a parking garage. So, for $500,000, I can move out to the outskirts of the city, I can move to PG, Prince George's County, and I can get that same property for 500,000, and I can have a 2 or 3 car garage. I can have a half an acre of land. Live in a subdivision. So there is some benefits and some perks, to living a little further out. And if you go out to more of the outer skirts of like Maryland and Virginia, I mean, you can get farms and you can get acres and acres of land and build your own farm. And there's a lot of, people are in equestrian, into horses, they do farming. I know several of my coworkers have chicken farms, cows, they train horses. I mean, that's what the environment they grew up in. I guess in that aspect, you can get the country living, also just working in, in the urban city, but you can leave and, also be, out in the rural area. Watch this guy. So, yeah. Also, big old B-2 bomber up there. Also, we're near air bases. Not too far from Andrews Air Force Base. It's a base where the president comes in and out of the D.C. area. Most of his, most of his travels come out in and out of Andrews Air Force Base. Pretty highly secure area. But, you're just amazed. You can just be in this area and see all type of planes and jets and, just flying right above you. Yeah, that's pretty unique, too. They annually have a annual air show where they bring in all of the old, fighter planes and big bombers and couriers, the Blue Angels are here. They always give a big demonstration. So that's right here in D.C. So, yeah. Right. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the experience of riding in the TC traffic, and just some of the challenges here in the city. I would be, happy to hear some of your challenges, or if there is a challenge, some guys might live in areas where the traffic is fairly decent. You guys, take 10, 20 minutes and roll on through and go home. But I'd be interested to hear how you guys fare in your part of the country or the world. So it's your boy Fireman West, and I'm signing off. Talk to you later, YouTube.